Last week on Monday Night Raw, the WWE Universe was thrown into a storm of pure chaos and disbelief as Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed delivered one of the most shocking betrayals in recent memory. The betrayal was ruthless, calculated, and devastating. Fans who had once cheered for the trio's unity watched in stunned silence as Breaker and Reed turned their backs on Seth Rollins, the very man who had once guided them with vision and conviction. What had been known as the Vision, Rollins' symbolic movement of dominance and discipline, was violently dismantled before the eyes of millions. The betrayal didn't just crush a faction, it shattered trust, loyalty, and the very foundation of what Seth Rollins had built. Rollins, often referred to as the Visionary, was left battered both physically and emotionally, lying broken in the ring as the two men he once called allies stood tall over him. Yet the chaos did not end there. Tonight on Raw, things took a darker and far more sinister turn backstage. Cameras captured an intense moment involving none other than Paul Heyman, the man whose name has become synonymous with manipulation, strategy, and power in WWE history. Known for orchestrating some of the greatest shifts in the wrestling landscape, Heyman was seen speaking with his usual cold, deliberate tone. His words carried a sharp edge, filled with intention and authority. Directing his message towards Seth Rollins, Heyman revealed that the betrayal of Breaker and Reed was no coincidence, no impulsive act of rebellion. It was a meticulously planned power move. Heyman spoke of control, dominance, and the illusion of order. He mocked Rollins, calling him a man who thought he could harness chaos and bend it to his will but failed to recognize that true chaos cannot be controlled. It must be commanded. According to Heyman, Seth had built his empire on arrogance and ego, and now that same arrogance had come back to consume him. As footage rolled backstage, Rollins' reaction was telling. The once composed, confident Visionary was visibly furious. His face told the story of a man betrayed, humiliated, and burning with vengeance. The usually calculated Seth Rollins appeared on the edge, his rage boiling over as he stormed through the locker room, scattering objects in his path. Several reports from WWE insiders suggest that Rollins has vowed to take back everything that was stolen from him and that his revenge will not just be swift, it will be legendary. However, the odds seem almost insurmountable. With Paul Heyman now apparently guiding the paths of Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed, Seth Rollins faces not just two powerful enemies, but an entire system of manipulation and psychological warfare. Heyman has long been known as the architect behind some of WWE's most unstoppable alliances. From his history with Brock Lesnar to his influence over Roman Reigns and the Bloodline, Heyman's fingerprints have been found on every major power shift in the company. His ability to take raw potential and shape it into dominance is unmatched. With Breaker's explosive athleticism and Reed's monstrous power, Heyman now appears to have assembled a force capable of rewriting the balance of power on Raw. Backstage analysts and commentators have begun speculating that this alliance could mark the birth of a new era, a faction perhaps even more dominant than the Bloodline, forged not through family ties but through sheer manipulation and ambition. In interviews and social media teasers, Paul Heyman has hinted that his new alliance is not about loyalty, but about evolution. He claims to be guiding the next generation of destruction, molding Braun Breaker into the future face of dominance, and using Bronson Reed as the enforcer to ensure no resistance survives. It is a strategy that mirrors Heyman's old philosophy: surround yourself with unstoppable power and control it through fear, intellect, and opportunity. Meanwhile, Seth Rollins stands as the lone warrior against this rising empire. His allies are few, his trust broken, and his empire in ruins. But if there's one thing fans know about Seth Rollins, it's that he thrives in adversity. Time and again, Rollins has been beaten down, only to rise stronger, sharper, and more dangerous than before. The fire in his eyes after Heyman's message was not just anger, it was the look of a man preparing for war. Sources close to the situation claim that Rollins has begun reaching out to unexpected names in the locker room, seeking allies who understand betrayal and warfare on a psychological level. Some even suggest that Rollins might be willing to align himself with rivals from his past, proving that revenge makes strange alliances. But who could stand beside him? Roman Reigns has his own empire, CM Punk's loyalties remain unpredictable, and Cody Rhodes is entangled in his own battles. Rollins may very well be walking into this fight alone, but that has never stopped him before. The coming weeks promise an intense and emotional chapter for WWE. Heyman's rise as the manipulative puppet master once again cements his status as the most dangerous mind in the business. Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed, now seemingly reborn under his tutelage, represent the new breed of destruction, strong, ruthless, and unshakably loyal to Heyman's vision of dominance. Together, they have the physical and psychological tools to crush anything standing in their way. Yet Seth Rollins has always been more than just a performer. He's a strategist, a survivor, and above all, a visionary. When he speaks about his vision, it's not just about glory, it's about rebirth. Every time his empire crumbles, he builds it again, stronger and wiser. His story is not one of defeat but of endurance. Many believe that the betrayal and humiliation he suffered will push him to evolve once more, perhaps even into something darker and more dangerous. WWE fans are already buzzing about the potential showdown between Rollins and this new alliance. The idea of Rollins standing face-to-face with Breaker, Reed, and Heyman carries an air of epic confrontation, the kind of storyline that defines careers. There is also the question of whether Heyman's reach extends even further. Could there be other superstars silently aligning themselves under his influence? Could this be the beginning of a much larger power shift that extends beyond Raw and touches the entire WWE landscape? One thing is certain, Seth Rollins won't go down quietly. In a recent backstage promo, he declared that betrayal only fuels him and that those who turn against him always regret it. The crowd's response was electric, a mixture of anger and anticipation, as chants of "burn it down" filled the arena. Those words, once a symbol of triumph, now sound more like a declaration of vengeance. As Paul Heyman continues to tighten his grip on the new faction, WWE commentators have drawn comparisons between this storyline and some of the most iconic betrayals in wrestling history. The dynamic between the manipulative manager and his new protégés is reminiscent of Heyman's past alliances, yet this one feels different. There's a sense that Heyman isn't just building a team, he's crafting a legacy, one designed to eclipse everything that came before. He knows the value of destruction and the power of rebirth, and perhaps he believes that by breaking Seth Rollins, he can create something even more unstoppable. Meanwhile, Braun Breaker's transformation has been nothing short of dramatic. Once seen as a rising young star with raw intensity, he now exudes a colder, more controlled aggression.